scale guide for each part of the assessment, which you can pause and read if you would like to. Okay, so today we're going to do the school function assessment for Susie Q. So I have all of the student information about the school, about her, filled out. So I'm going to give you the record form, and then I'm also going to give you the rating scale guide. So this goes along with each part of the parts on the record form, and they're all different, so make sure you pay attention to this. So if you would flip to part 1, since you're her teacher and you're very close to her, I picked you to do this because I think you know her best. So I'm going to have you read the description of each activity setting, then refer to the rating definitions to determine the rating that best describes the student's current level of participation for each setting. So you're going to circle the appropriate rating for each setting on the record form, and then you're going to sum the ratings in the 6 settings to obtain the participation raw score, and then this score is going to be placed at the end of part 1 in the record form. You're going to rate 6 activity settings, either regular or special education classroom, and all the remaining 5 settings. Each rating should reflect the extent to which the student actively participates in all relevant activities of the setting in the same context as his or her peers, and should consider all aspects of the tasks and activities involved. So make sure you answer every single question, circle a score for every one, don't leave any blank, and if you have any questions, just ask me. Okay? So you can go ahead and start. Here is part 1 of the assessment, which was participation, that the teacher just filled out for the student. Now for part 2, we're going to use this rating scale. And you're going to do the same thing, read the description of each task, and then refer to the rating definitions to determine the rating that best describes the student's need for additional help or modifications to perform the tasks. Consider all relevant aspects listed for the task when rating the student's use of supports. Circle the appropriate rating in the record form for each task. Sum the ratings within each scale to obtain a total raw score for each of the following: physical tasks assistance, physical tasks adaptations, cognitive behavioral tasks assistance, and cognitive behavioral tasks adaptations. Record the total raw score for each scale in the appropriate place provided in the record form. If a student uses adaptations for a number of tasks, the adaptations checklist may be completed to describe specific adaptations the student is using. The adaptations checklist is located in the record form. Okay, go ahead. This is part 2 of the assessment, which is task supports that the teacher just filled out. Okay, so for part 3, we're going to use this side. And you're pretty much going to do the same thing, read the description of each functional activity, then refer to the rating definitions to determine the rating that best describes the student's typical performance for each activity. Circle the appropriate rating in the record form for each activity, sum the ratings within each scale to obtain the raw score, record the raw score for each scale in the appropriate place provided in the record form. Go ahead. And this is the final part, part 3, that the teacher filled out. It is the activity performance section of the assessment. Now the coordinator of the assessment, which in this case was the occupational therapist, is using Appendix B in the user's manual to convert the raw scores for each section into the criterion score, and is also placing the standard error both on the summary sheet. Once all of these scores are recorded, the criterion scores are then plotted on the graph next to it. And then the functional graph is made from these criterion scores. Here is an example of what one of the charts in Appendix B looks like that you would use to get the criterion scores and the standard error. And this is what a complete summary score form looks like with a plotted functional profile graph.